Hello, it's Katie Arwood from MCC Reads and the MCC Library, and I'm joined today by Val VanderMark, who is the Performing Arts Coordinator Emeritus here at MCC, and she's going to give us a wonderful presentation on Lorraine Hansberry and her fabulous play, A Raisin in the Sun.
I got wings, you got wings, all God's children got wings. When I get to heaven, gonna put on my wings, I'm gonna fly all over God's heaven. Heaven, heaven, everybody talking about nobody going there. Heaven, heaven, I'm gonna fly all over God's heaven. What a nice dream, huh? Oh, wouldn't it be nice to just fly all over everywhere you wanted to and get away from all of our situations? Well, that's what happens in this play. This song is sung in the play A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. And it represents the dreams and the hopes of all the people in the play. The play is about a poor black family in Chicago sometime after World War II. The theme of dreams is a major part of their story. Their dreams give them a reason to keep going in horrible circumstances. Lorraine Hansberry wrote A Raisin in the Sun in 1958. She was the first black woman to have a play produced on Broadway. This play became a beacon of hope in the civil rights movement. The play was written just before the civil rights started, the movement started. And it became a beacon of hope for people because it explored everything that they were having trouble with. The plight of poor people of color in the United States, class and generational conflicts, value systems of the black family, and lots of other pertinent topics that were really important and still are important to people of color in the United States. This story is about a 3-generation African-American family. And they live in an apartment on Chicago's South Side, and they don't have any money. They don't have any money. They have lots of dreams, but they have individual dreams, and those dreams cause a conflict between all of them. The characters are Mama, who is the matriarch of the family, the grandmother. She lives with her son and his wife and their son, who's about 10, and her other daughter, so she has a daughter-in-law and a daughter. When the play opens, they're eagerly anticipating $10,000 that's going to come from the estate of their grandfather. And each one has a different dream about how to use that money, and of course, their dreams conflict with each other. Mama just wants everyone to be happy, and that runs through the entire play. The title of this play, A Raisin in the Sun, is from a Langston Hughes poem. Langston Hughes was a black poet in the mid-1900s in Harlem. And part of the poem says, "What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or does it explode?" This applies to both A Raisin in the Sun story and to Reading with Patrick by Michelle Kuo. In the book Reading with Patrick, Michelle has written, this is a story about herself and her own experiences. And she is Asian, by the way. She has gotten into a lot of the civil rights issues, which apply to Asians as well as African Americans. But she looks desperately for a literary work that can relate to her students. Even though Raisin in the Sun was written 50 years earlier, her students immediately respond to it. And I can understand why. They know the family, they know the struggling characters in the story, they can see how Mama works so hard, the matriarch of the family, how hard she works to make her family happy. They see the married couple who are having troubles. They're all stuffed in this tiny apartment that doesn't even have a bathroom. The bathroom is down the hall. They see the 10-year-old son who has to sleep on a couch because there's no bedroom for him. and they see him begging for money, just a few pennies to take to school. So these are things that students in the Delta in the mid 20th, early 21st century are still dealing with. The students read the play, and she's a smart teacher. She has them read the play from different perspectives, so they read it from different characters. And they understand how dreams can dry up like a raisin in the sun, or sometimes even explode. They see it happening in Hansberry's story, and they see it happening in their own lives. And I'd like to read the play. It's quite short. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Langston Hughes. It's no surprise to me that these students are also drawn to the book in the form of a play. By assigning characters to students and having them take turns reading the play out loud, the students no longer are just hearing a story. Rather than being an observer from the outside, they're inside the story, understanding the characters from the inside out, and relating to the other characters in a much more personal way. That's the magic of theater. Theater brings an added dimension to the story, and it brings it to life in a way that no other art form can. It's a wonderful illusion of reality that draws the observer in, and at the very least provides an escape for a short time from their own troubles. If students can find a connection in the story, it may teach them a lesson, help them find solve a problem, a solution to a problem, or change their lives in a very profound way. I highly recommend reading with Patrick. Besides the lessons that it teaches about racial inequalities, which are many, I love it because it's written by a teacher, and I identify strongly with her emotional connection to the students. I also love all of the literary connections in it. She uses poetry, she uses wonderful literature, she even uses Frederick Douglass' autobiography. And that makes me, as a reader, want to go on and read all of the other things that she mentions. I go right down that rabbit hole, and that leads me to reading other books. I hope you learn from reading with Patrick. I hope you find personal value in it, and after reading it, maybe you'll be motivated to go down that rabbit hole. Maybe you'll even read A Raisin in the Sun.